Welcome to the Communicast. This episode we are talking about the Escapist Expo. And it's been like 1 or 2 weeks since it happened. I don't remember because I am good with time. So I'm Fappy. Everybody should know me because I'm the most important person on the website. So I'll skip my own introduction because you probably already know it. Next we have Fizz. Fizz, introduce yourself.
Hello. I am the resident sound goblin of these little things, so yeah.
These little things that nobody listens to. And next we have Dire Sloth, aka Katie. I'm probably going to call her Katie throughout the cast, so introduce yourself, Katie.
Hello. I have never done this before, so hopefully this goes well and I get invited back because I like friends. And I'm just
Well,
I'm too scared to go on the forums. I like to read, but I don't post often, but I'm there. I lurk.
Well, it is a scary place. And we'll probably invite you back even if it does suck balls, because let's face it, I mean, these things do suck, but they're fun. So we got Toad next. Toad, tell me about your soft-spoken self.
I don't have a soft-spoken spot. Stop it. I'm Toad.
Yes,
if you know me, I'm Toad of Truth on the forums. Stop interrupting me, Fappy. I'm trying to talk here. If you know me at all, it's probably from one of my threads, the Injustice League ones. If you don't, then you probably don't know me at all, so I should stop talking.
Yeah, you should. Know your place, Toad. And so... I'm sorry, Toad, I love you a little bit. And so, next we have Martin. I'm not going to say your username because I call you Martin.
It's not that hard. It's just swamp.
And he's Swedish.
Yes, I am
He's from
Swedish.
Sweden. He flew all the way from Sweden to fucking North Carolina, where it is humid and shitty. I don't know why you made that poor decision.
Hey, sometimes I wonder myself, but when I was actually there, it was clear that I had made the right decision because I got to meet everyone here as well. So it was like win-win and win.
Actually, funny, we should mention the whole North Carolina thing, because if you remember correctly, I showed up on Thursday for volunteering in shorts and flip-flops and a t-shirt, and I was A-okay, and you had a jacket and jeans on.
Dude, I had a sweatshirt. It was a horrible decision.
A sweatshirt, yeah.
It was the worst decision in my
You have to be
life.
ready for that kind of thing.
I had packed for what I thought was the same temperature as it was here, but apparently I was sorely mistaken.
Yeah, the South and Sweden are completely different. Yeah,
I realized that.
So
You can always take clothes off. So
True.
That's true. You could always take clothes off, but then you'll just get more gnat bites. At least in the South, anyway. The purpose of this episode is just to talk about our experience at the expo and how awesome it was for all the people who didn't get to go, so we can make them feel bad and shitty. Which is all the British people, because they suck and are poor and couldn't come
Those
for some
fuckers.
reason. I don't know, just...
Live.
Couldn't they just work the street corners for a couple weeks or something like that to get the cash? I mean, come on. Daystar gives really good head, so...
I mean, at least I made it.
Hey, I mean, I'm not insulting the guy. It's a compliment.
He has a
Daystar
skill
knows
and
I
he
love
uses
him.
it well.
He does. I mean, his tongue just twists so many ways.
I think Knifer kept talking about how he wanted to come, and I was like, you're going to spend $3,000 on a plane ticket from Australia, including all the other stuff?
That's nuts. There was somebody else who was supposed to come who had to drop out at the last second, but he was in the U.S. I can't remember who that was.
For me, that's at least 20 people.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think I can say it right, but Iloethra and also Chrono.
Oh, yeah.
They really wanted to go, but they sent their regards.
So, on that note, we got to explain how they made a poor decision in not spending their life savings coming.
Someone had a
I guess-
Kickstarter for themselves. I was like, I don't even have money from me.
I should have thought
Not
of
that
that.
I don't. I mean, you got to
That's
do.
awesome.
You got to do what you got to do, but meh.
Yeah, I mean, at least next
That's
time
pretty
if they
awesome.
come by, they can save a lot on money by actually doing couch surfing, which I did, and that was an experience in itself, and saved me a lot of money to actually not buy at the hotel or stay at the hotel.
Yeah, that was a really cool concept I'd never heard of.
Really? Never ever before?
Not well, okay, not in that formal sense, I guess. Like how they had a whole website dedicated to it and a community and stuff like that. It just sounded pretty cool. I'd never heard of that.
Me either. It just sounded like, hey, random stranger who lives in the area, can I just come crash here for a few days? I promise I won't eat all your food.
That's basically it, except that people actually trust each other, I guess.
I know I would get some creepy person or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure Martin's couch surfing partner only agreed to it because she saw like his headshot and she was like, all right, I can work with that.
I actually don't
He's
think you're
from
that
Sweden. He's
far
exotic.
off from the truth.
Really?
No, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Did she want your body? Did she try to seduce you on the couch
No, but her
while you were
cat
couch
did.
surfing?
Just so you know, it is not common in North Carolina for people to open their door in just lingerie. I don't know if that actually happened to you, but if it did, it's not normal. She was coming on to you.
Okay. Well, at least I found other people to stay with for next time I come visit.
Well, that's good. So actually the host of this episode was decided at the last possible second because we're all lazy, and I don't actually have anything prepared question-wise or anything, so we'll just do it off the cuff. We'll just start with what was everybody's favorite, let's just say like moment. What was everybody's favorite moment, if you can pick one at the expo? If you can't pick a one, just say one of them.
Okay,
or all of them.
I still really liked the drinking thing for Thursday night, but also, did anyone do, I think it was a Q&A panel where Jim, at the very end, he had a whole movie based around Willem Dafoe being a baby. Did anyone else hear that?
That was Fappy's question,
that was
right?
Awesome.
That was my question.
That was Fappy's question.
That was beautiful.
Basically, I was like, all right, I'm going to give Jim the best question he's ever had in his entire life.
Oh, God.
And he fucking delivered so hard. Oh, my God. It was brilliant.
It was beautiful.
Well, I saw on his Facebook page later that he said that was his favorite moment of the expo, and I was just like, in my head, you're welcome, Jim.
Like, I just, like, there wasn't a single part of that I couldn't just imagine in my head, and I'm a little upset that I can't repress that. Like, the whole Willem Dafoe face is at the end.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know,
and
right?
Forever and forever, I will always see that image in my head of William Dafoe. Well, you know what was even worse?
And then
What was even worse was I finally saw Antichrist, and William Dafoe was in it, and it's a horror film, and it was bad.
oh god. And
was
right
even more
after the
horrific.
expo, Beyond Two Souls came out, and I started playing that, and I was like,
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that, too. I was like, oh, no, not CG Willem Dafoe.
Jesus.
Well,
you know,
an interesting
it's
ending
funny
to
is-
that game, though.
When he was describing that scene, I could not help but think of the final scene from The Good Son, but instead, you've got the fucking Willem Dafoe baby.
oh my god.
For people who
I
don't know what we're
love
talking
Yahtzee's
about,
comment.
it's I'm sorry, Toad, I interrupted you, but for people who don't know what we're talking about, we can't describe it. It's just Willem Dafoe, and go watch it on the Escapist because we can't explain.
Yeah, just
I'm actually really happy.
go to Q&A.
Well,
I don't watch movies very often, but I've actually seen Look Who's Talking with the babies and the one with the dogs, so I was like, I've seen that. I know.
Well, if you want to see what we're talking about, go to the third Q&A and fast forward to like the last 15 minutes or so, probably.
Yeah.
And the person who's stumbling over his words when asking the question is me. Well, okay, I'll give myself some credit. I wasn't nearly as bad as some other people who
That
go up to
is
those
true.
mics.
I think some people,
yeah.
the
Yes,
questions
yes.
shouldn't be just like, I think advice to people going to ask questions at expos, especially if you have like a really long drawn out one, write it down first. And also like questions rather than just like one words and like, okay, here's a word, go with it.
Yeah, what was it?
Brevity would do those people
Yeah,
some good.
because I know.
Just saying. Because it's like a single phrase, it turned into like an entire
Plus, after
thesis
you kind of
paper.
write it down, you kind of realize, like, well, maybe this isn't the right kind of question. Like, I was writing a question for a panel, and I ended up just throwing it away. I was like, well, this is stupid. Like, that's a dumb question. I can answer that myself.
Well, I remember there was...
Not that the questions were, like, dumb or anything, just, you know, brr.
I just remember there was a few
Some of
panels
them
that me
were.
and Toad that we went to, and we just looked at each other and we're like, what the hell is that guy talking about? What is his question? I don't understand. And there was this one guy, I don't remember which panel it was.
It took forever.
I don't remember
to
which
get to the
panel it
point.
was, but there was one where I think he answered his own question or something like that. It was weird.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, there was one. They literally, some guy, they were like, okay, you're the last one. And he was really, really nice. Like, on the other half of the room, there's just this little 8-year-old kid or something. And he looked all sad. And he's like, you know what? I'll give him the last question. And it was really sweet. I applaud that guy.
So that was Katie's best moment.
Sorry.
If that is somebody else's best moment, then pick another one.
Probably for me it was the Thursday night pub crawl and playing Cards Against Humanity and drinking beer with the staff of the Escapist. That was pretty fun. Come to find out
Yes.
that Andrew and
Dude,
Renee is very loud and has a big potty mouth.
oh.
What?
Yeah. So Jeff and Tim were sitting right next to her, and they were like, "Who is that really loud chick?" I'm like, "She's from the videos on the Escapist, dude."
Oh, so since I wasn't there because I was still jet lagged at that point, would you mind
Wait.
telling about the story of when Angela Renee joined you? 'Cause,
Wait, no, you were there.
Apparently, there happened some.
You
no,
were
not
there.
when she was there.
No, he had left
That's
already.
right, you did leave.
And then she spilled booze. She spilled somebody else's booze on his cards while he wasn't even
That's
there.
right.
It was
Well,
awesome.
I don't want
Um,
to talk too much shit, but she was a really nice person. I thought it was really cool to meet her.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm not talking shit or anything. It was just really surprising because in the videos she's like
Oh yeah.
very professional and all that when she's doing interviews. But it was just kind of surprising.
I mean, all the staff were really fun. I mean, I was I feel terrible now because I actually spent a decent amount of time talking to him, but I always forget his last name. It's the other Greg.
Oh, Greg
Greg Lincoln.
Lincoln.
And not Greg Tito. Yeah, there you go, Greg Lincoln. He was drunk as fuck that night, and he was a really good Cards Against Humanity wingman. I'll give him
Wow.
credit there.
Yeah, he was fairly drunk that night. It was pretty funny.
I was stuck in the airport the whole time, so
Oh
horrible.
yeah.
But you know what? I talked
Well, we
to
got to play funny cards.
what was his name? Jonathan Bolding. I talked to him a lot that night too, which I thought was yeah.
Oh, we both did. Yeah,
we
he was
talked
cool.
to him and
We made fun of his skinny
we
jeans.
did.
Remember that?
Who else? Oh, and
We played with him too, didn't we?
yeah, the first game.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I learned that him and Justin
We,
Klaus are a deadly combination to play against when
Yeah.
it's Cards Against Humanity.
Didn't Justin
oh
win?
yeah, definitely.
Oh god,
We're
I think he did.
wait, Martin, were you still there when we were playing with Graham?
I think I was just about to leave while you were playing then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were kind of still there, and Graham came and played with us, and that was super fun.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, like, one of the main things I got out of this expo was that I felt great about myself by the end of it because I was like, I made a handful of professional comedians laugh personally.
Oh yeah.
I feel good about
Oh, I
myself.
know. I actually got a couple people laughing, and I felt better about myself. It was actually kind of cool, and like it was kind of weird a little bit because you didn't think they would be that personable, I guess, and they would just like take your joke and run with it. It was just super cool. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah.
None of them there were dicks, basically.
Yeah, they were all really cool.
Nah, exactly.
Like, even, like, I've heard things about, like, Cliff Blazinski was there, and he was so nice, and his wife is so hot.
Dude, I had one run-in with Cliff. I think you were with me, Fizz.
Yeah, you
Were
went to
with me?
buy the shirt for Jim.
Dude, I can barely even remember what we were talking about. Oh, no, that's right. Cliff was, like, the way he talks about stuff when he's not on a panel and stuff is fucking hilarious. He's got such
he
a dirty
does,
mouth. And he was like, He was like, we were at this booth, and he was just like, he was talking to his wife. He was like, yeah, just get whatever the fuck you want, whatever.
It was the weirdest experience
But
ever.
yeah, well, it was weird because, like, I mean, I had talked to plenty of, famous / internet famous people while I was there, but the interaction with Cliff was the weirdest one of them all, just because, like, I just turned around and he was right there and started talking to me. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? I didn't even recognize it was Cliff for the first, like, 5 seconds.
I didn't even know who you were talking to, and I totally looked around. I was like, holy shit, that's Cliffy B.
Yeah, the only thing I remember him specifically talking about was him bitching about Kickstarter. It was really funny.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And he was also on a panel. I don't know if you were with me, Toad. I think it was like one of my favorite thing or whatever, and Cliffy was on there. And we found out his... Yeah.
Oh,
he totally goes quote unquote gay for tiling.
Oh yeah, that one thing I like.
He's talking about that was interesting, where he's just like, I don't even know what he said, but he was like the grouting, and he's just explaining it in this obsessive way. And like at first I thought it was a joke, and I'm like, no, he's like, well, maybe he's exaggerating, but like he's totally serious.
It was
hilarious.
He was going like into great detail about like, and someone even mentioned mosaics, and he goes, oh my god, don't even get me started. And I'm sitting there going, this is a guy who made Gears of War and big burly games, and he's totally going batshit overboard with tiling. I don't know how to handle this right now.
I thought in that same panel, something that made me laugh was Greg Tito he wasn't going to answer the question. He goes, oh, I don't really have anything that I'm geeky about or whatever, the video games, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, no, actually, this is one thing about baseball. And then he, for the next 15 minutes, just baseball.
I know.
And that's what he was talking about, like sports and everything. He went on, the longest of anyone there.
Oh, yeah, that made me... something very similar happened to me, and I felt terrible because I ran into Dr. Mark several times, and we talked a few times throughout, the expo. One time in particular, he comes up to me, and because he had just asked where I was from. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Atlanta. He starts talking about the Falcons for like 10 minutes, and I'm just nodding. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
He started talking about the Cardinals and the Cubs,
yeah, when we met him, Katie.
I don't baseball.
I don't sports ball or bat ball.
Shut up.
Bath ball.
Bat ball.
So
I don't sports.
Bat ball. Who is our Toad or Martin? What was your favorite moment?
Martin, you want to go first?
Sure.
Does it matter?
If you want to. Well, for me, since this was the first time I've ever actually... this was my first time both at the expo and actually meeting all the quote-unquote celebrities that I've kind of gotten to know through the podcast and stuff and all that. So my favorite moment was definitely the live Escapist podcast, and you were there for that, Fizz.
Yeah. That was kind of fun.
And I actually... and I've sent in questions before and never got them answered. But this time I was like, I'm going to freaking ask a question. So I was like, I'm going to stand up. I have no idea what my question is, but I'll figure it out while I'm standing in line behind this guy. I changed the question 4 times inside my head and finally got to talk to them and got pictures with them. And finally, it was just so great to actually meet the people you've listened to. It was listen to discussions and, hearing them on the podcast every single week for how many years now. So that was definitely my favorite time out of the entire expo.
I thought what was pretty cool about that podcast was you can see how tired they all were, but they were still trying to, make it entertaining for all of us to watch and hear them. And that was a pretty hilarious podcast because at one point they got Tito to twerk. And I think that was the part where he just fell on the floor.
Yeah, he
top
tried to twerk. Yeah, and he just basically did a stunt fall right off the freaking stage, and I was like, what just happened?
And my other favorite moment, okay, was that My Little Pony thing a scarf? Because I have no idea what the hell that is. Janelle had it.
I think it was supposed to be a scarf, yeah.
Okay. Well, if you haven't seen it, it's basically that blue pony with the head and the arms, I think, at one end. and she was trying to get Tito to wrap it around his waist, and she finally got Paul to do it, but she couldn't wrap it around him because he was too fat, I guess, and it wouldn't fit around his waist. So all you see is Janelle go behind Paul on the stage and like try to wrap it around him. It was so funny.
And occasionally like popping up with her head like, hello.
And she was moving her arms around, and it was just so funny.
Oh gosh, that was a great podcast, especially.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen that.
That was one of the panels. I mean, I didn't see it either. I was probably goofing off with.
I think I was volunteering that at that point. I don't remember what I was doing
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm sure you were probably at the door.
You and Katie were volunteering. I don't know where you were, Toad. I think you went to go to one of the main panels, and I just went to because it was in the smaller rooms. It was like right across the hall from like the show floor.
Yeah.
Was it the Escapist Q&A panel too? Did you go to that
No,
one?
I think that might have been Q&A too. This was Sunday.
Yeah, that's the one I was with. Wait, I was Sunday?
Yeah, the podcast was Sunday.
Not Saturday? Oh, well then I don't know what I was doing. Because the Q&A day 2 was on Saturday.
I remember you walked over. I was in line eating lunch. And I remember... No, weren't you going to go do something with your dad?
No.
Shit, I don't remember now. Because I remember we talked briefly while I was in line. Martin was somewhere buying a shirt, I think.
Oh yeah. And then I found $20 on the floor right after I bought a shirt. So I thought,
that's right,
I'll go back and buy another shirt.
Clearly, I have no idea what I was doing then. Just wandering aimlessly.
Well, on that note, what was
it.
your favorite moment? What was your favorite moment, Toad?
Mine. I'm a huge fan of Miracle of Sound. So the concert was absolutely amazing. I was one of the first people into the room because I had talked to him earlier, and he was like, "You got to be up there at the front row." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there up at the front row." So I was there, and it was just amazing. Like all the other people there were really good. Random Encounter was really good. At one point during the concert, Random Encounter had everyone in this conga line wrapped around, like just everyone in the concert was somehow in a conga line, and it worked.
There were
and
two
we all
conga lines.
There were, because one of them split off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't it? That's what happened. Like they couldn't all get it.
That's how big it was. They're like, well, let's break off here and just do a second one, I guess.
I somehow ended up exactly the same spot. I don't know how that happened, and then Miracle Sound came on, and I was like, yeah, woo! And I had allergies, and I lost my voice, and I was like, ah! So,
rub it in,
amazing.
Toad.
Oh yeah, you guys didn't get to go.
Do you want to tell the story of why we couldn't go?
No,
Yes,
not
tell
really.
it, tell
I don't
it.
want to think about it.
Tell it. Please.
It's just a lot of bullshit, basically. Alright, so we're like, hey, we haven't fucking played Magic in forever, right? So we're like, yeah, drafting was the best thing back in the day. Let's go play some Magic. And this was probably at like...
That
It wasn't
started
even
at
that
noon,
late.
right?
Wasn't it like... No, it wasn't that early. It was like, I think we started at like 6
Yeah, we started at 6 and we were playing
maybe,
for a little
right,
bit.
Fizz?
So just everyone knows, we is Fappy's girlfriend's sister, his 2 friends, and myself. Just so that we're aware of everyone involved.
Yeah, so a bunch of people, basically, that most of which wanted to go to the concert. We figured we had enough time because we were used to drafts back in the day being, single elimination, not weird bullshit, whatever that makes no sense. We were used to drafts that lasted roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours. This one was supposed to last first of all, they didn't tell us what the setup of the draft was. They just said it was a draft. So we didn't know any of the extra rules that they were tacking on, that if we had stayed and played the whole time, it would have taken like 6 hours.
Didn't it start at 7 too? And our draft lasted like 30 minutes. Didn't it?
Yeah, it took a long time to start up, and by the time we got through the first round, it had already been like 2 hours or something like that, and we were like, oh fuck, we gotta, like, over half the people in the tournament, in the draft, just fucking forfeited their following matches because we had to get out of there. And by the time we got to the concert, Miracle Sound had been on for probably, I don't know,
It was
20
like 10
minutes or
minutes
something.
Or something like that.
And yeah, 10 or 20 minutes, and we couldn't get in because the policy that local venue had about, letting too many people in was... I had to, how many blocks did we run back and forth, Fizz,
So
for no
what
reason?
happened is I think we ran to our rooms and just dropped off. No, we went to dinner first. It was like 10 o'clock or something like that.
We grabbed food really
so
fast.
We went to,
Miracle Sound was not on yet.
After our second match, that went pretty quick. I mean, I think all of us just wanted to have a quick match and get it over with. We ran to Tyler's. That was about 5 blocks, I want to say. 4 or 5 blocks. And then we were meeting up with your people. We quickly ate. And then we practically ran, I think, 9 or 10 blocks over to the restaurant. Yeah,
Something
and
like
we
that,
just ate.
What?
And we finally got there, and the guy told us, you couldn't get in because there was a capacity level. And what was really bullshitty about the whole thing, we just saw like a group of people leave. And we're like, well...
We saw 2 groups of people that were bigger than... There was like more than 15 people in each group, and they were clearly... They were not coming back.
You should have told him to go count, just in case.
We tried. We were...
Just be like, hey, you should go count.
Because, no, we were both like, are you
Just be smart asses about it.
Well, I think at this point we were both pissed. And smart assery was not an option
Exhausted.
Was not an option at that point.
And both of us made the very poor decision of eating barbecue-style food and then running 10 blocks, so... yeah.
And what was even funnier about the whole thing?
I didn't feel good that night.
What was even funnier was, like, after the guy told us he wasn't going to do, like, another count or whatever, me and Fappy just shared a look. Like I'm really tired and really pissed off and I don't feel good, so let's just leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck my life. That was the low point, and I was really pissed at the time, but the rest of the expo more than made up for it, so...
I just remember...
So I have a question for Toad.
Yeah.
Were you able to get up on the stage when he called up some people?
I did not, because that was the one fucking song where I couldn't actually sing it, and like my voice was gone, so like even if he had done the introduction, like I couldn't have even done the pirate thing, so I was like... But I did get to talk to him after the expo, or not expo, the concert was really cool. I walked up to him and actually, wait, that was the second thing. I mentioned Color Scientist on the Escapist. She used to live close enough to him where she would see him around town, and so like I mentioned that to him, and then got his autograph and left. And then the next day in the Escapist panel Q&A 3, he mentioned me and her in the thing. Like some dude came up and talked to me about a friend that lives near my town. I was like, yeah, that was me. Fuck yeah, he remembered. So that was cool.
I'm still waiting for Jim because he's made an episode since the Expo 1. Didn't see it. Yeah. I'm hoping some point in the future he wears that Kirby t-shirt.
I did too.
I'll be disappointed if he doesn't.
I want you inside of me one.
Yeah.
I bet he'll wear it.
I think he might just have to wait for the proper time to do it. I'll wait. I'll give him time, and if he doesn't do it by the next episode or the next expo, I'll just show up and be like, Jim,
what's
you're
going on,
breaking my
man?
balls, Jim.
You're busting
It
my
sounds like
balls.
you're describing a relationship rather than a gift.
What he doesn't know is actually a trap.
Oh my god.
It's entrapment.
Maybe he'll wear it and then he'd just come up and really hug you deeply, and he's like, "Come here, Daniel."
He doesn't even remember that
I'll
you
just
gave it to him, though, does he? Because you didn't really say.
What do you mean remember? I'm sure he remembers getting it.
Well, I mean, you're like, I'm Fappy. Here, take the shirt.
Oh, I didn't say who I was. So, I didn't say who I was, but I'm pretty sure he recognized me a number of times because I told him ahead of time I was going to do it, and then he remembered when I gave it to him. And when I asked the question at the panel, I'm pretty sure he recognized who I was. I don't really care if he remembers me at all. I just hope he wears the shirt.
I think you do.
Is it
You actually asked
meant
me to like
$20 to me.
go up to him and ask for his shirt size. I was like, because I was in line for the
shirt.
autographs, and I was like, I'm not gonna ask for the shirt size. What kind of question?
Yeah, you
is
were in
that?
line already.
So
It's
you
alright,
made me ask Nasrin, and I don't really know her
It's
well
alright,
either, so it was equally awkward.
The staff already knew it, so I just got the info from.
So I made a fool out of myself for no reason.
Well,
Is that
Lewis
what you're
just told
saying?
me. Oh yeah, exactly. That was the whole entire plan the whole time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, I guess I'm the last person, so everybody took all the best moments already. So I'll do a best moment that nobody else was there for except for Jeff. Chris from No Right Answer was like 3 doors down from us in the hotel. I ran into him like, I want to say 8 or 9 times in the hallway of that floor while we were there. The first time, we were both getting ice from the ice machine at the same time, and me and Jeff were just joking around with him like, oh man, he's a real person, he needs ice too, like stupid jokes. And it was funny. And then it happened again. And we just kept running into him while he was getting ice. I don't know why he needed so much ice, and I don't know why we were in the hallway at the exact same time, but it kept happening over and over again. So every time I saw him at the expo, we made stupid "do you have enough ice" jokes. And that just became like a thing that he explained to people. Like I would make a stupid joke in passing to him about the ice while I was like walking by him or something, and somebody would give me a funny look, and then he would explain the joke to the person. That was just fucking
God.
weird.
So you basically
but it
got
was
an
funny.
in-joke
It's pretty
with
great.
a famous person. Well, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I have an inside joke with Chris now.
That's awesome.
It's not even a particularly good joke. It was just so dumb that it was funny, I guess.
He'll never look at ice the same again. He'll see it and be like, ugh,
I know.
that time.
I'm gonna see him at the next. He's gonna forget about it. And I'm gonna see him at the next episode expo.
What if you
Well,
just
yeah,
dumped a
I'm gonna
bunch of
bring him
ice in his
ice and-
shirt? Or down his pants. Or not his pants. On his pants, but
I don't
that's a
think
little
he'll
much.
appreciate that.
Just the next Escapist Q&A, you go up to him and you're like, "Excuse me, Chris, do you have enough ice?" You do. Okay, thank you.
And then he's gonna. Well, my fear of that is he's gonna look at me like with this horribly stupid look for like 10 minutes and be like, "Oh Jesus!" Like all of a sudden, just gonna hit him.
God, I so wanted to
Well, if it
go
does
up to
happen in the
him.
middle of the expo, that would be great.
What's up?
If it does happen in the middle of the panel, though, it'd
Yeah,
be a bonus.
it would be.
I really wanted to go up to
But-
him and just ask him any question, and then just kind of follow it up with like, "But there's no right answer." Ha ha ha.
The first conversation I had with him, I made that
Oh,
stupid joke.
thank you.
It was,
Thank you so
You have to carry
much.
around
He-
like a
no.
snare, and
No.
like a top hat, like every time you do that.
Yes.
He was like, I'm trying to remember, he said something like we were mutually complaining about something, or about a group of people while we were getting ice. And he said something, and then I just go, well, clearly they didn't know the right answer. And then he was like, ah!
That is so good.
It was so stupid.
That is pretty
I
bad.
love it. I love it so much.
Well, he's a really cool, or him and Dan is the other guy who was there,
Yeah,
right?
Dan
Is his name?
Epstein.
Dan, maybe. Yeah, both of them are like, all the content creators are really approachable, I'd say. But the
Not
two of them, while they're, we'll get to that later.
Sorry,
But the two of them, the two of
was
them
very
are
withdrawn.
they're kind of on a different level because they almost seem like when they're not on the panel they seem like attendees.
Yeah, they did.
They kind of hold themselves and act that way. So it's pretty cool. They were like that last year, or at least I think Chris was the only one who was there last year, but he was like that last year too.
Because I said hi to him. Said hi to him last year, and for whatever reason I just couldn't talk to him this year. But I thought it was pretty funny. I think it was, I don't remember where we were going, but we Fappy and I think Toad was with us. We walked by Lisa Foyles and she pointed us to the cupcake bar and she told us we should totally try it out for her since she didn't have time.
Yeah, I ran into Lisa a few times. She was pretty cool. I didn't really get much time to talk to her at all. But one time I did. It was like a 5-second conversation because I was watching the door, and she was passing by.
I was
And
there.
she said hi, and I was just like, "You got to bring Dan." Yeah. Oh, were you there when I told her to bring Danny Timborelli?
Yep.
And she was like, "I plan to," and I was like, "Yes." Can you imagine if Danny Timborelli ends
That
up
would
at the
be
next
awesome.
expo? Like he would. It's not even. He wouldn't even be related to video games. People just want to see him on a panel because they're like, I haven't seen you, like, your face in like 12 years.
Question: who is this guy? For the foreigner, please.
Oh, okay, so, did you guys have all that or anything in Sweden?
No.
Or he was also
Unless you could dub the show, then no, we did not have it on Nickelodeon or stuff like that.
oh God. He was also on Pete and Pete and Figure It Out too.
Yeah, Pete and Pete.
That doesn't
Yeah,
say
he was
anything.
on Figure It Out a lot. Figure It Out sucked balls though. I hated Figure Out even as a kid
Yeah, it
because
was
it was so
pretty stupid.
stupid.
Like there was only one person that would take it seriously, and that was it. And that was what's her name? Oh God, I can't remember her name now.
I don't remember. Well, I mean, Danny Timborelli never took it seriously, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was just
He was
cracking
just
jokes the whole time.
Having
Yeah.
fun, I guess.
God damn it, I can't remember her name now, but I just remember she would maybe crack one sarcastic joke and then try to make it serious. But that show was just a joke.
So I guess the next question I have in mind is, what's the best thing that you took from the expo? Whether it's like I don't know, a disease or maybe something you bought or was given to you or something.
Counter question.
I don't know
When
why
is a
I said
disease
disease
good?
first. Well, there's a disease in Pokemon that's good,
Okay.
Progress.
but that's Pokemon.
It's a good thing we live in that world.
Lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy? That's not a good thing, Joe. Lycanthropy is a horrible disease.
But it's fun.
Well, you eat your family when there's the full moon. I don't think that's fun.
Well, you can't get,
I can live with the downsides.
Jesus
you
Christ.
can't
Toad.
get vampirism if you have lycanthropy.
Yeah, that's true.
On that point,
So, I guess we'll start with Fizz since you're right under me in event.
Ooh.
oh,
Oh.
you're on top.
Wow, that was all you. That was all you. I wasn't. My mind was not in the gutter.
It's gonna be that kind of a podcast.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
we can
we
make it that
could.
kind of podcast. I've already talked about doing. I've already talked about making a promiscuous cast or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yes.
A drunk cast and promiscuous cast in one.
Or together. Ooh. Scandalous.
Ooh.
I don't know if you could tell, but my eyebrows were jumping up and down while I said that.
You can
I
tell
think
by the
Martin's
voice.
voice got deeper.
Yes.
My voice.
Johnny Deeper.
All deep and sultry and whatnot.
Oh,
Never mind.
yes.
I'm gonna stop talking.
You like what you see.
I can talk all sultry.
Anyway, let's continue.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
We're not going to seduce each other with deep, manly
No.
voices. I thought this was going to be a yaoi cast,
Save
but I guess
it.
I was wrong.
Save it for the sultry cast.
Okay.
I want to be on that one.
Yes.
This just kind of got weird for a bit.
Sorry. Continuing.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, it says fizz.
What did you get, Fizz?
Well, when I
Was it lycanthropy?
Jesus,
Who gave her lycanthropy? I mean, who would?
Jim.
He is God.
Jim is
No,
not a
he clearly
vampire
isn't.
or a werewolf or no. Jim is a deity. That doesn't. They
No.
don't get diseases.
gods never do.
So
Or
he's here
curses.
seeing them?
Yeah, sure. Actually, if I don't think he'd be here seen. He would be sanguine.
Yeah,
That would be good.
yeah.
Who would be Sheogorath?
So Fizz.
Oh, Jesus
Anyways.
Christ, I don't know.
Also, Jim.
Jesus. Well, two things. One, I got sicker. I got the con plague.
Hooray!
Yeah,
that's a con for you.
Yeah. Well, I had to.
You did bring a disease back.
Well, to be fair, I came with one, but it was going away because like Tuesday, Wednesday, I can't remember which one. I was actually doing better, and then all of a sudden Monday hit. Like the minute I got back home, and I felt like garbage. And then, so that was the bad thing. But the good thing that came out of it was, outside of like the random shit that I bought, was I got to play the new Ratchet and Clank game. And
Oh yeah.
Martin, you were with me when this happened. So there was like a long queue to get in. And so I was just talking with the I think he was one of the webmasters of Insomniac. And I don't remember how we got into the conversation, but he found out that I eventually want to get into the industry with audio, and so two of the audio guys were there, so I got to talk to them for a bit. And I didn't get any business cards out of the deal, but I did get to talk with them and kind of have a little connection there for the very short amount of time I got to talk to him before I finally got to play it. But that was something that was pretty cool. I didn't think that was going to happen that weekend, let alone talking to the devs behind Insomniac, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, because I mean, Insomniac has done your favorite games, basically, no?
Yes, all of them.
On a similar note, I got to talk to I was hanging out with Jeff on the first day. I think it was Friday morning, and I just randomly, we were sitting down hanging out. We had already checked out the show floor, and the first panel had already started, so most of the people weren't in or around the hall. It was pretty empty for the most part, the main hall in the Marriott. And I just saw a dude standing nearby. It looked like he had just arrived. And he was looking at a schedule, and on the back of his shirt it just said Dev, and like had the high-res logo on the back. I'm like, oh shit, that guy works across the street from me. So I called him over, and it turns out he was the COO of the company and a founder. And we had a cool conversation and stuff. And he comes from the same corporate heritage as I do, so that's pretty interesting. I joined the company I'm currently in after, he had left the company that this company eventually acquired. It's complicated, I know, but technically speaking, we're from the same bloodline of money.
Could you give him a message from me?
If that makes sense. Sure.
If you see him again, I mean, since he's working across.
I have him on LinkedIn, so.
Yeah, you should tell him that I love Smite. Like that game that they actually showed off on the floor as well. Like it was so. It's awesome. Yeah. It's such a great game.
Yeah, I played it in beta a little bit. Yeah, I can pass that along. Yeah. We actually mostly, because I was already familiar with it, so we ended up talking mostly about Tribes, because I had never played it, but I heard a lot about it, and he was pretty excited to talk about it, even though it's one of their older games, but
Yeah, they've rebooted it quite big, actually. It's a good game. It's a very, very solid kind of quick, Quakey, Unreal Tournament-ish kind of style shooter.
Yeah. It seems pretty meta, too, in how it works, so that's kind of cool. But, so Fizz got some company connections and more diseases. What'd you get, Katie? I got to preface this with saying that Katie got to hang out with more famous people than all of us, so.
And one even took care of her when she was super drunk.
What? Really?
Yeah. Graham took care of her and gave her McDonald's.
Holy
I
moly.
had to stand in the drive-thru. Meow. I think my favorite thing that I got, I'll be cheesy. I'm really glad I met you guys. Because you're also, last year I went with a bunch of friends. And, I know, I'm kiss ass. Last year I went with a bunch of friends, and they were all really cool. And, the only thing was I didn't really venture off or talk to anyone, except for, Ben or Chrono. And that was kind of it, and I added him on Facebook way, way later. But yeah, no, I liked doing that. And seeing you guys playing Magic was a lot of fun. I actually, when we were doing the loading ready run draft, just prior to that, pretty much the entire trip, I was like, if I could just pull an Elspeth, because that's one of the new planeswalkers is Elspeth. And I really, really wanted it. And as soon as we opened up our first pack, Scram just goes, "Oh, Katie, you're gonna hate me." And I kind of thought about it, and I was like, I hate you so much. But the last day we were there, I went up to the booth, and they were just sitting there, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? I get paid to play Magic. You can have it." And he just gave me the Elspeth, which I thought was really nice. It's like a $35 card, and it made me happy. But yeah, that and volunteering.
Did he sign it?
No, I wish the artist. I did get some of my cards signed by Cynthia Shepard, I think is her name. She signed my Sublime Archangel.
Was that the artist?
Yeah, she was really, really nice. She had some mats out and.
Because I met Todd Lockwood, who's another Magic artist. He also does all the covers for all the Drizzt books. All the what's his name? I can't remember the author's name. He's really Salvatore. All Salvatore books. I met him at DragonCon this year, and he's a pretty cool, wacky guy. So when I talked to the person you're talking about, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but
Cynthia
she literally,
Shepard, I think.
So was it okay? So Cynthia, yeah, that sounds familiar. So Cynthia talked to me about Todd Lockwood's Facebook page for like 10 minutes about how like he rants about politics and stuff like that constantly, which I totally see. But yeah, I'm sorry, I totally just hijacked that from you.
It's okay. I'm kind of I'm not gonna lie, I have to go to the bathroom really, really bad, but I'm afraid to get up from the computer. I'm like Yahtzee now, because apparently he.
Oh god.
Apparently he sincerely says that it helps you stay focused to just hold your bladder. Like I kind of sounded to me like he just doesn't want to stay around, blah, blah, blah. But no, like, sorry.
Yeah. So you're saying you're Yahtzee? Is that what you're saying?
I don't want to be. I want to go to the bathroom. I'm like, screw that.
Can you also sing opera?
No, that was awesome.
Really
that
awesome.
was that gave me chills. That was really, really
That was
impressive.
Crazy.
I remember last year, he a couple of times just kind of explained, I was younger, I had social anxieties, and I was like, I can see that. He seems like a shy kind of guy. And for him to just do that entire thing with all those people, that was really impressive. I'm very happy that happened.
Why did he even bring it up again? Like, I don't remember. He's just like, oh yeah. It seemed almost like, oh yeah. By the way, I can sing opera.
Oh, you know what?
And then he goes, and he does it. And then Jim's like, I can sing too.
What happened was,
I think it was Jim.
Graham mentioned that last year that he could do balloon animals.
Oh, the balloon animals.
And
that was me.
Yeah, and then Greg Tito made a comment something like, it's pretty cool when you can actually do what they actually said you could do, like right on the spot. I think it was Greg Tito, and then Yahtzee mentioned, I can do, this or whatever. I think that's how it came to.
He did a.
No, it's
sorry,
okay.
I'll stop.
But I think that's how that happened, because I remember that was on the first Q&A panel, and then he just randomly did it.
Yeah, it was quite impressive.
Not something I expected from
totally
Yahtzee.
not.
No, definitely not.
Say that.
So, Toad, what did you get?
I don't have a cool story. Like, the coolest thing I can say I got was Metroid 2, because, like, it's one of the older games, so it's harder for me to get, and so, like, I absolutely love Metroid. Like, the first game I played was Metroid Zero Mission, and then I got Metroid Prime, and I'm just a massive fan. And so, like, there are just a few games I haven't played, Metroid 2, and the second half of Super Metroid, because I don't have the SNES anymore, and so I just have that, and that's the coolest thing I got. Like
some cool retro
thing.
stuff.
Well, I mean, you at least got, I imagine, airborne cooties from all the macking out happening in front of you at dinner that one time.
What?
From the what?
The fuck?
From Toad, or not? From Taco and his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, that.
What?
Well, we had the beer tower, so I was happy.
It was pretty funny.
Taco's definitely a teenager. I'll say that.
Oh, burn, man! He's probably gonna hear this, and he's gonna be like, "Toad,
we
that's
probably
always
say
something
Taco.
special."
Psychic Taco 115 was he's a friend of mine. He was also at the expo. He isn't on this cast.
And you were calling him out.
And we were
just establishing that.
So he brought his girlfriend with us, and they're just teenagers. They're quite, I don't know.
Infatuated.
That is what the, yes, that's a good word.
It was quite adorable.
They've discovered that when you kiss each other, it feels good. Is what you're trying to say.
It was quite engrossing.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, wait. Taco, what? Not Taco. He was with us at a panel, Toad. Which one was it? And his girlfriend was yelling at him to go pick up something that had dropped on the floor.
Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah. He dropped his thing. He's like, no, I'll get it later. And they're just saying this bickering. It happened like... They're just bickering the whole
right
time.
At the beginning of the expo, and she's like, "You're gonna forget." And he's like, "No, I'm not gonna forget." And it was so incredibly hilarious just to watch the whole thing happen.
Was that the expo where he asked the panelists for a hug? He's just like, "Will you guys give me a hug?" And then Yahtzee was immediately.
I remember that. Yeah.
And like even Graham was just like just everyone was like. What kind of question is it? We're in the middle of something here. Go away. It was like, Taco, why did you even think this is a good idea? It was pretty ballsy, but awkward as hell.
What panel was it where... there was another... I don't know which one. I was up... I don't remember. I think I was volunteering up in one of the balconies, but Jim and Yahtzee just threw off their coats and put up fisticuffs. They were going to fight like Greg or someone. What was that all about?
Oh, I remember that.
I don't remember which one that is.
It was hilarious.
Was that from the fat jokes? Yahtzee only made a few, and then Jim just kept saying he was making fat jokes.
He was asking for it. He was asking for it.
I don't remember which one it is now.
This.
I think Jim secretly loves the fat jokes. It's pretty obvious. I think he loves them.
I completely
Say
missed
my
this.
name. Say it.
Yeah,
Jim just started making fat jokes himself when Yahtzee stopped.
You know, it was weird. It was weird about Jim actually. This expo was last year. He did like the signing and stuff. If I remember correctly, he did signing, and he seemed like he knew exactly what he was doing, and like this. Come to find out at this expo, like he had this very, I guess,
withdrawn,
surreal kind of experience this time around. And it's weird, is because I thought that had already happened. You know, like I felt like he already knew he was famous.
Well, didn't he say at the expo, like Jimquisition was big-ish, but after the expo, he said like tons and tons of people started watching, and so I think like after they saw the panels, it exploded, and I think that's the thing.
I bet that was a good feeling.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It was cool to see that happen.
And the greatest thing happens like Jim's videos are often very serious, not his Let's Plays or anything, but like the Jimquisition are often very serious, so like his humor comes through, but it doesn't come through as much. So to see him in the panel, if you only watch Jimquisition, is kind of odd, just because how over the top and how awesome his humor is. Like, you don't see that as often.
Well, you see it in the like the intro and outros of all of his videos, like all his crazy shit he does with the miniature fantasy Willem Dafoe and stuff.
Yeah, and apparently he's going to do another thing with Dr. Crane around Halloween time, so that should be exciting.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I want him to do something special with miniature fantasy Willem Dafoe, but I don't know what.
Oh God. No.
I'm kind of scared now.
Why?
The possibilities.
I love how. Why was it Brendan Fraser? Of all actors, why did he pick Brendan Fraser?
But it was totally perfect.
Thankfully, I have too bad of a knowledge of movie actors and stuff, so I can't associate too much of it.
The Mummy.
It still doesn't say anything. From the Mummy. Sorry.
Monkey.
Wasn't the last name
Bones?
O'Connell or that movie?
I've seen
O'Connell.
less movies than you could.
That's my last name, so it weirded me out. It's like I never hear my name, and all of a sudden O'Connell. What? What's going on?
Weird.
Brendan Fraser kind of looks like a derpier version of Eric Bana.
Still doesn't help. I'm
That's
sorry.
the best way I can describe.
Good try.
Let me Google that for you.
Just go into your tab and look it up.
I don't think I want to. I'm glad not associating that entire fantasy with nothing. or at least half of it. I know Willem
Anyway,
Dafoe.
so, Martin, what'd you get out of it?
I don't know. I seem to be, from what I've heard or noticed, is that I got like starstruck from the wrong kind of stars. Like, I was really excited to see everyone in the staff. Like, I got really excited. Like, oh my god, there's
I'm like that
Greg
too.
Tito, and like there's Paul Goodman, and there's Janelle Bonanno and Greg Lincoln, and everyone that you've heard of. And I was like, well, okay, cool. There's Yahtzee and there's people.
Well, I'm even worse than that because I'm like, yeah, I'm friends with Lewis, and everybody's like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, well, he doesn't write articles. He works for the website.
Yeah, like I'm the same. Like, oh, cool. So the best thing I got from it was actually getting to talk with all of them. Like, I worked with Brian, who was standing outside the conference rooms the entire expo.
Oh yeah, him, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was mostly there and just checking and helping out. And I got to help him out sometimes, some weekends, or like some of the afternoons actually. And people would come by, like from the staff, like Joshua Vanderwall and Greg Tito and Greg Lincoln, and just kind of check on him. And so I got to talk with him a little bit. And then, like, by the end, like when we actually did the podcast, I don't know if you noticed, Fizz, but Greg Tito actually mentioned me by name.
Oh yeah, I noticed.
Like during
I thought
the
that was
podcast.
pretty cool.
She's like, oh my
Nice.
god, he remembers my name? And then like, I was like, oh my god. As if this wasn't nerve-wracking enough. You said my name.
I just thought it was pretty cool. No, I mean, not to jump on your bandwagon, but I thought it was pretty cool to like actually talk to the staff, because there was a lot of them that I talked to this year. Like I was talking to, outside of John Bolding and
Yeah, I was with you for a lot of them actually.
And then
like we were talking to the what's his name,
Josh?
the guy who handles all the
Josh,
newsies.
yeah, and we were talking to him about Diablo.
Diablo, for some reason.
I don't remember how. Oh, because you mentioned Pokemon, and it was coming out next week, and we couldn't remember when it was coming out. And I made the offhand comment like, "Yeah, I only have one crack addiction right now, and that's Diablo, and that's good enough for me." And he's like, "Oh, so what do you play, PC or console?" And I told him, PC. And then we got to talking about, he told me about the console version was better right now than the PC version, and so we kind of talked about that for a bit, and then we talked about something else. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I do remember mentioning that like he and Cross are both way better at Diablo 3 than I am, because they're like, yeah, we were playing it on like hardcore blah 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 mode. I'm like, yeah, awesome. I'm not that good.
Yeah.
but
I told him I did briefly, but I haven't died. Obviously, I haven't died yet, and I told him I'm too scared to finish it because I don't want my character to die.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm too attached to my demon hunter.
But I think we actually ended up. We talked about how when they do the searches for new newsies, and how like he totally I don't know if it was him actually at the time or not, but they totally got us with one of those trick questions in one of the submissions, and he explained how they changed up the process because they thought it worked better the new way. And I think I complained about the fact that like we never see features anymore.
I don't remember the reason why he said there weren't any features, but I just remember thinking it wasn't that big of a deal after he told us the reason. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was mostly, I think, actually that it was just they weren't getting enough submissions.
Or like
for a
the
long
submissions
time.
were like it's something that's already been done, or it wasn't like really fleshed out.
Yeah. Well, since they stopped doing the weekly editions, so I think that. I imagine that's part of the reason is there isn't like a singular focus every week for people to write about something, so they just don't get as much usable content, I guess.
And we told him that Rob Rath's articles were like really, really good. Like that's like the only feature or article weekly that comes out that we read, or at least I read on a regular basis. So
the Seamus's stuff is pretty good, but it's not consistent. And Dr. Mark writes something like once every 8 months or something.
Yeah, and I guess from what I don't remember if Oh yeah, he was there. We talked to Dr. Mark while waiting for your girlfriend and sister. That he's gonna maybe come back and write more now that his work schedule has got all reworked around. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
kind of excited because I really enjoyed his articles.
Yeah, me too.
And honestly, like his, and this was the case last year too. Like his are by no means the funniest panels by any stretch of the imagination, but I love his panels so much because I don't know. He's a really cool guy. Like he has a lot of
Right.
interesting insight to
Yeah,
offer and stuff.
the Asperger's or the Gamer Syndrome panel, that was, I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining panel I've ever gone to, but it was probably one of the...
I actually had to miss that
Oh,
one
that's
because I was
right.
volunteering.
But it was probably one of
Aw.
the better panels I've gone to this whole week because I thought it was, really cool, just to hear him and one of his colleagues' opinion about stuff, and I just thought it was super, super cool.
Yeah, I actually got to meet that guy, Will Vince or Vinci. I'm not sure what his last name was exactly.
I don't either. I know who you're talking about though. He
But,
was like really shy.
Oh, are you talking about his like colleague?
No.
Yeah, I actually.
No,
No,
the
the
guy-
actual moderator,
Who?
the guy who was the guy who was diagnosed with Asperger's.
Yeah. He was the guy that was with him
I
when
didn't
we were
see that
talking
guy.
to Dr. Mark.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like he was a really awesome guy, and it turns out that he and I actually both decided to do the same thing and do couch surfing. So when we talked at the Miracle of Sound concert, it turns out that he had looked at the person I was staying with and chosen to go with someone else, and I had done the same. I had actually thought about the guy that he was staying with, but I had gone with the other choice. So we had like switched who we were going to
That's
stay
weird.
with.
Well, I guess I haven't said mine yet. I got some T-shirts. Oh, it's obvious. I know what I got. That was the best thing ever that nobody got.
What?
You know what that is? Theoretical ice
You
cream.
never got it?
Oh yes.
You never got it?
Well, did you not hear the whole story, Fizz?
No.
Okay, so just to give everybody background, Lewis, who is Thy Name is Mud, he's a web developer. His username on the Escapist is Thy Name is Mud. He's a pedophile, for lack of a better term, in the fact that he loves Justin Bieber a lot. I don't know, is Justin Bieber over 18 now? Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, hey, those aren't even my words. That was his what's his name said it?
Skylar.
Crap.
Is
Big guy.
he a self-proclaimed Bieber file?
Skylar and Nazar
Yeah,
have said it.
he's a
at one
Bieber
point,
file.
too,
Skylar.
so-
Both of them, yeah. Skylar was the first one I heard say. Skylar was just going off about how much of a pedophile Lewis is. Anyway, so let's preface it with that. He likes to also troll me. For some reason, he always picks me to troll on the website and out of the website. And so I'm volunteering on Thursday when we don't really need to volunteer, but I was just helping out with some early badge stuff. And he comes up and he is like, "You gotta keep this stuff with you." And I'm like, "What?" And he pulls this crap out of this duffel bag, and Maida's with him, and she's like, "Yeah, he just keeps his stuff with him." I'm like, I'm not gonna question that. When he produces Justin Bieber paraphernalia all over the table from his backpack. And so I'm forced to wear this button that says Justin Bieber's girlfriend on my lanyard for the badge the whole weekend. And I have this little gay picture frame thing of Justin Bieber with me at all times. So the arrangement was I'm supposed to keep both of these things with me the entire expo, and he'll give me ice cream at the end, which sounds I feel like a victim of pedophilia now. I'm over 18, but anyway, so I kept them with me the whole time, and the funny thing is, like, I ran into him probably like 10 times a day while at the expo, and every single time without fail, he'd give me this look until I produced the picture of Justin Bieber from my pocket, and then he would give me a thumbs up or a smile, and I'm like, all right. So he was serious about this. So it gets to the last day, and everybody's packing up. I think Martin, you got an all access pass to help pack up shit.
Yep.
And so you're running around with them, helping them clean up, and I'm looking for Lewis, who's doing all sorts of shit, trying to get everything done. Clearly, he doesn't have enough time to get me ice cream now, and I had to kind of leave soonish. So he was like, I found him, and I was like, "Where's the ice cream, man?" And he was like, "All right, I'll make it up to you." I'm not, and he kind of gave me a hint as to what it was, but I wasn't entirely sure. The next day when I get home, I'm at work, and I got a random message on the Escapist, and it said I got a new badge. And Fizz, have you seen the badge I got?
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. So it's a Photoshop picture of an ice cream cone with Justin Bieber's face in it, and it says,
I think it said I'm a believer.
Ice cream for Bieber. Yeah, it said the description is I became a believer at the Escapist Expo 2013, and it's the perfect gift for me because not only is it horrifying, but it's also I'm the only person on the entire site who will ever have that badge, so that's pretty cool.
That's so awesome.
So jealous.
But the best part about the whole thing was later that day for people who don't know, on the Escapist, there's a user group called the Badge Hunters, and they're the people who catalog all the badges on the site. I think it was Topaz, I don't remember, but he links the badge, and he was like, "Does anybody know what the fuck this is? Fappy's the only one who has it." And there's this short conversation between people trying to figure out how they get it, and I'm just sitting there snickering in the background.
That's awesome.
Yes, my puppets dance. Oh my god.
Oh man.
I was wondering about
funny.
that too, because normally every time there's a new badge, there's a bunch of people in that thread so this is what the badge is and this is how you get it, and I never even bothered to go in there or the user group, and I just thought it was hilarious after the fact that no one knows how to get it. There was even some talk in the bro chat how to get it. It's like, you can't. Fappy's the only one that can get it.
It literally is impossible to get now unless Lewis decided to derp and just randomly give it to somebody.
The red button?
Oh yeah. Well, we were actually talking about it, and I almost convinced him, but maybe he can retroactively do it if I convince him to. But I want him to turn that badge into a red button in disguise.
That would be awesome.
That would just be, actually. It should be he should make it the Konami code command as the button. So when you click on it, it does the crazy Konami code thing on the website where it spins the screen around and shit. And shows all the dogs.
Wow.
Have you guys done that before?
No, I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what is it? Up, down, down, left, right, BA, enter
it's all that
or something.
Enter.
Yeah, so
you get to see
try
what
it out.
90s
it's pretty funny.
websites were like back in the day. That god-awful color and flashing and oh god.
Oh no.
Fucking... Oh, did you do it already?
No, I know exactly what you mean though with the actual design.
Oh god, it's terrible.
Yeah.
With the stupid ass word art.
Yep.
Oh no.
So, yeah, that... I guess that's the best thing I got from the expo. He let me keep the button too. I think I'll probably just melt it down. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw you at the registration desk and saw a picture 2 yards away from you. Wait, it's aren't you supposed to have this closer? And he's like, no, get that away from me.
Yeah, Skylar, because I was sitting next to him, he was like, I cannot be within 5-mile radius of that picture.
Oh, what was it? I was, because I just barely got to the hotel, and Fappy texted me, and I went down to the room where the registration was, and I saw it, and the first words out of my mouth were, what the fuck is that?
Didn't I just say Lewis? Pretty sure I just said his name and with no explanation.
Yeah. But no, Skylar was pretty funny the whole time. The whole time I was there, and he had to leave, and Cross was sitting there for a bit too. So,
actually, this is kind of unrelated, but I just remembered this, and I think I'll forget if we talk about anything else. So was anybody at the panel? Actually, fucking don't remember what panel it was, but it was the panel where Jim Sterling pointed to the back of the theater randomly and said that he saw Susan Arndt.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
No.
He actually thought he saw her though.
Yeah.
He was pointing directly at me because I was standing in the back because I was like volunteer on break and I wasn't sitting down. He pointed directly at me and everybody in the theater fucking turned around and looked at me. And I was just like,
you're so womanly. At a distance.
Apparently I look like Susan Arndt from a distance, and like I just kind of did this expression where I'm like, "You talking to me?" kind of thing. And I don't know if they could see me from where they were, but I looked up and Maida and Lewis were sitting on one of those balconies that, you know, the guys from the Muppets sit up at and point at things. And they were looking, like it looked like they were like trying to see, and then they started cracking up. I'm like, oh God, I hope that.
You know what?
Like I hope they don't recognize me.
I remember looking up because I saw a ton of movement up there, and I looked up and I saw that both of them just cracking up laughing, and I turned around and I was like, oh, that's Fappy. What's going on here? I'm lost.
Dude, I have no idea. That was so bizarre. It completely caught me flat-footed.
Why did he think you were Susan if he couldn't see?
Dude, I have no idea. It was the weirdest part about the whole thing was just the fact that the whole theater turned around and stared at me for 5 seconds.
Jim's wishful thinking.
Well, there's no way to end...
Yeah, too bad I didn't see Susan at all.
I think that it's about time we...
I saw her once at the expo. I mean, the Miracle Sound concert.
I never saw her.
Yeah, what time is it for you, Martin?
Oh, it's like 1 a.m.
So I hope it's okay. I might get out here in a second. I probably should be going soon.
Oh, you haven't...
I don't know how long this was.
You haven't peed yet.
No, not yet.
What a soldier.
Well, anybody have any closing statements? Anything they want to get off their chest? Like, you know,
well,
tell me off, I'm a terrible person and stuff.
No.
I'm just really glad I got to do this. Thank you guys so much. I hope I did okay and can help again.
Oh yeah, you guys did great.
Yay.
Except for Toad. Come on. That Toad guy.
Hey.
Who even likes Toad? Toad.
I never even really got to talk to you.
Everybody's a critic, I tell you. I think I saw you once at the table when you had to leave immediately.
Yeah, I was like all over the place. Like everywhere.
You were
You
the
were
man
a very
whore of the
good
expo.
volunteer. If they had like a badge to give out, you would have been best volunteer.
Thank you.
Martin.
That means everything.
I'm sorry. I heard vag instead of badge and had to correct myself in my head.
Hey.
He was that good that they were like, here.
Here, have a prostitute.
On the house.
All right. Well, anyway, so I guess that's a good place to end it. I hope everybody who made it to the expo feels that we had an accurate portrayal of what happened. And anybody who didn't make it, well, I hope that you feel horrible about yourself.
And go next year. They haven't announced it or anything
go
yet,
next
but
year.
obviously I'm just going to go ahead and guess there'll be one next year. I hope.
It's going to be amazing.
I imagine. I hope it's in October again, too, because last year it was 2 weeks after Dragon Con.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
holy shit.
And it was pretty hot,
I was exhausted
too,
by the end of that. Yeah. It was hot this year, too, but not nearly as hot as last year.
But it was nice this year.
Anyway, so, yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. This was a good podcast. And I hope that everybody who didn't make it gets to make it to the next expo, because it was fun. Anybody have any last words? Want to say goodbye? No.
I think that next year we should all contact Lewis and become believers ourselves.
2014 believers.
Yep.
Can I go pee now?
All right. Go.
You never
Go
went.
pee.
All right.
It hurts.
I'm heading to bed.
Obviously,
Sorry.
she doesn't have Cartman's mother. Call her with a bucket.
Name.
And on that classy note,
Yes.
Sorry.
Talking about piss
prostitution
and
Perfect.
South Park. I guess we should probably go. This is escalating quickly.
Perfect segue into the sultry cast we're gonna have sooner or later.
We'll end up with vigorous hand jobs.
It'll.
Yep. You got it right there.
It's
Come to the next expo and you'll get one vigorous hand job.
We'll
Should
leave
we
a
should we
cliffhanger.
explain
Does
the
Katie
joke
make
or
it to
just
the
leave it
bathroom?
there?
Just leave it. Well, Let them wonder.
All right. Well, later, listeners.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.